welcome to another video! Today, as you can tell from the title, I am doing the Moonchild book tag, which was created by Rhiannon from Crescent Moon Reads, and I am going to link her channel and her video down below, of course. She was super nervous about posting her original tag, and I don't really know why she was so nervous about it, because I think it's really good and I think her questions are really good. I haven't seen a lot of these questions around before, so I think it's very original, so well done to her. It is the Moonchild book tag because obviously she is Crescent Moon Reads. She is obsessed with the moon and all things lunar, so it makes sense. And here I am doing it because she tagged me to do it. So yes, well done Rhiannon. I hope you and everyone else enjoy my rendition of this tag. There are 11 questions in this tag, and each one of them is something to do with the moon, night, darkness, you know, moony stuff. So yeah, I'm just gonna get on with it. The first question of this tag is Full Moon, a book that has supernatural creatures in it. The first book that comes to mind when I think of supernatural creatures is this one here. Without dropping it, is Sanctuary's Fiend by Andrew Lynch. Andrew sent this to me, it's self-published. This is about a girl called Rel. She's 16 and she is a vampire, but she has yet to experience any vampirism, and then suddenly she experiences all of her vampirism, and she has to keep it a secret that she's a vampire because in her like supernatural community they kind of mingle amongst ordinary humans, but no one can know that they're supernatural, and stuff happens and blah blah blah. But supernatural creatures there are a ton of in this book. Question number 2 is Starry Night, a book that has a beautiful starry cover. I know exactly what one I'm going to pick for this. It still has the sticker on it because I only recently bought it, but this is Satellite by Nick Lake, and this cover is absolutely stunning. Like, look at those holographic like moons, and then it's all starry and there's a little astronaut, and I think it's just gorgeous. So for a like Starry Night cover, this one, absolutely. I'm actually really excited to read this as well. It sounds super interesting. It's about a boy who was born on a space station and has like never been to Earth, and he's about to go home, and I think it sounds really interesting. I'm excited to read it, and the cover is stunning. I need to take the sticker off though. Question number 3 is Out of This World, your favourite sci-fi book. This should come as no surprise. No surprise to absolutely anyone, I'm sure. You can probably all say it with me. What is my favourite sci-fi book? Annihilation by Jeff Vandermeer. This is like one of my favourite books of all time. I love it, and I don't really think I need to explain to you any more than that because you're probably all sick of me talking about it because I talk about it all the time. It's a really mysterious, creepy, sci-fi, borderline thriller sort of read, and I love it, and I definitely need to reread it again before the film comes out, because the film is coming out like next year, pretty soon, like the trailer's released, and I need to reread it again before that because I obviously do want to see it, but there are some things that I already know are very wrong about that movie. But yes, I love this book a lot. Question number 4, Creature of the Night, thriller with a killer. I know I just said that that was a borderline thriller, but I don't really typically read many thrillers, so I don't have any thrillers with killers, but killers, one book comes to mind. Daughter of the Burning City by Amanda Foody. This is a murder mystery meets magical fantasy. It's about a girl who lives in a festival, and she's an illusionist, and her illusions are incredibly real people, and then someone starts murdering her illusions. So there's definitely a killer in there. I don't know if you could classify this as some sort of thriller. Probably not. But it's murderous. There is definitely a killer in there, so I'm having that one. Next is... Woohoo! My camera just fell over, so sorry if the angle's slightly different. What was next? Question number 5. The Moon Controls the Tides, a book that deals with water. Anything to do with water. Unfortunately, the book that comes to mind when I think of water, anything to do with water, is this beautiful book that is really lovely. If you're not fluent in sarcasm, that was sarcasm. This is quite possibly one of the worst books I've ever read. Definitely the worst book I've read this year. I absolutely hate it. But it is a lot to do with water. It's about a girl who is born as a sacrifice to the sea, and she grows up and she has to reproduce another sacrifice. They're called the Given. And only once she's reproduced will she pretty much be fed to the ocean, and then her child will be raised and fed to the ocean after it's had a child. And it's just a really messed up book. There are a lot of things in here that were incredibly problematic for me. Was not a pleasurable read. I do not recommend. I have done an entire book babble on this if you want to know my ins and outs of thoughts, but it's definitely something to do with water. Moving on. Next, question number 6. Daughters of the Moon, a book that features some serious girl power and friendship. Embarrassingly so, I really struggled to think of an answer for this one because I actually don't have many like girl power friendship books. Seems to just not be something that I'm into. I know there are a few out there, I just have no interest in reading them. In terms of girl power, there are a lot of like kick-ass females on my shelf, but none that feature like strong female friendships, so there's clearly a gap in my reading. But one that does feature an incredible female protagonist and has a lot to do with friendship is Vassar in the Night by Sarah Porter. You might not think it because this book is like incredibly weird, and I know a lot of people didn't want to read it when it came out. But the female lead in this book is very powerful. She, not powerful in a magical sort of way, powerful in a like inner strength sort of way. She deals with a lot, and there is a very intense friendship in this book, and really some quite strong messages about growing up and stuff. So although it's a mad weird book, there are some strong messages in this one, so I'm gonna go for that one for girl power and friendship. Next, question number 7, Spaceship, your OTP. Are you really gonna make me pick one? Because I can't. I am trash for so many pairings, like Feyre and Rhysand, trash for that. Blue and Gansey, trash for that. Kel and Lila, trash for that. Like, there's so many. If we're gonna go down the route of like the original OTPs, like when I first got into sci-fi and fantasy and there was one couple that I was invested in, I would probably have to go with John and Sarah from I Am Number 4, which is the first book in the Lorien Legacy series. There was a lot going on in their relationship, and when I first read that series, I mean, I still haven't finished it to this day, there's twists and turns in that one and I enjoyed it thoroughly. Moving on, question number 8, Waxes and Wanes, a book that played with your emotions. There are a lot of books that play with my emotions. There's not an incredible amount of books that make me cry, but that doesn't mean they don't play with my emotions. So for this, I think I'm gonna take a sort of different approach and go with The Raven King by Maggie Stiefvater. This played with my emotions in bizarre ways. There was the fact that I didn't want to read it because I loved the series so much. I was terrified of reading this one because I didn't know if my heart was ready. So there was that. But then there was also the fact that I really did want to read it. So I was like battling with myself of whether I wanted to or whether I didn't want to. And then throughout the book there were twists and turns and stuff I didn't expect and relationships developing that just, it was a complete roller coaster ride, and I loved every minute of it. And then that ending just had me like, ugh. This definitely played with my emotions a lot. Even when I wasn't reading it, even before I had read it, this one was already playing with my emotions, so I have to say that. Next, question number 9, Music of the Night, a book that has to do with music. The first one that comes to mind is This Savage Song, but I don't have it because one of my friends still has it and I need to get it back. So I'll just hold up Our Dark Duet, not that I've actually read it yet, but I need to. But I kind of want to like have a skim of This Savage Song before I go into this one, so I need to get that back. Yeah, this, not this one, but This Savage Song. There is definitely something musical about that. The title's a musical, we've got the violins on the cover. I'm not going to say too much about what it's about in case someone hasn't read it, but there is a musical element and it's kind of a dark musical element, but I really enjoyed that and I cannot wait to read this one. I love Victoria Schwab, so I am very excited to read this once I eventually get This Savage Song back. This takes us on to question 10, After Hours, a book that has the word night in the title. Okay, let's just go for this one. The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. I loved this book a lot. It was fantastic. It's a whopper, took me ages to read, I buddy read it with G. This is fantastic, very suitable for this tag as well. Night, everything takes place like in the middle of the night. I loved it so much. It's one of them books that really transports you to the place it's set. So magical. Like, this is a book I highly recommend if you haven't already read it. It's just incredible and holds a dear place in my heart now, but obviously has the word night in the title. And this takes us on to the last question, which is question 11, Crescent Moon, a book that features a goddess or goddesses. And the only book I can think of for this is Percy Jackson. I genuinely do not think any other books I have feature anything to do with gods and goddesses, but obviously Percy Jackson has a lot to do with gods and goddesses, but I have only read the first one, so I haven't like met many of them yet, but I know they feature, so I'm kind of cheating and going with that, even though I don't think I've actually met many goddesses in this yet. But anyway, there we go. I'm having that one. And that takes us to the end of this tag. All 11 questions, check. I don't know who I'm going to tag yet because I know Rhiannon tagged a ton of people, so I don't want to like double tag people, but I will go through her list, see who hasn't been tagged, and then tag some people down below, so check down there to see if you are tagged. Or, you know, you could well be tagged in Rhiannon's video, I don't know. But yeah, I'm going to leave it at that. If you have enjoyed this video, please give us a thumbs up. Don't forget to go and check out Rhiannon's original video. Go and send her lots of love. And yeah, chat to me down in the comments. If you aren't subscribed and fancy subscribing, I'm always eternally grateful for that. I upload every Sunday and Wednesday and some odd days in between if I'm feeling generous. And I'll see you next time. Bye!